All right, guys. Welcome to Alumni Week. Okay, this is the culminating event for Thursday night meal. We've got some special guests here with us. First guy to talk to you is Seth Fleener. He's a member of the 99 team, the state runner-up team, and still holds state records as a receiver. One of the greatest to come through here, and he's from E-Town. Took some time out of his schedule to come down here and talk to you guys here. So pay attention to what he's got to say. And so here's Seth Fleener.
First off, let me just thank everybody for letting me have the opportunity to come out here and speak to you guys. I've been removed from the program since I was in your shoes, where I actually played and strapped it on and went out there and represented Hancock County for over 15 years now. So when I got a phone call from Paul Sharon to ask me to come back and speak to y'all and be a part of this Alumni Week, that's something that's very special to me. You'll understand that as you get older. Right now, you can probably grasp it a little bit. I'm sure you've had a week full of listening to alumni, and they've shared their feelings, their emotions, and stuff to what this program meant to them, and where they want to see the program actually end up and continue on that path. But just to kind of give you a little bit of background on me, so you kind of understand the reference of where I come from and why I feel the way I do about Hancock County football. Like Coach Eubanks said, I was part of the 99 team. As part of the 98 team, that was one of the first programs, or one of the first teams to win a playoff game for Hancock County, one of the first teams to beat Owensboro Catholic. But in that journey, I want you guys to realize, okay, you can receive a lot of awards, and you can get, you might have the chance to get your name etched on a little plaque and placed on the wall. You might be able to be all-state, you might be able to be all-area and stuff like that. I was fortunate enough to have that experience and to be able to do that. But I would have never had those moments without the people that were surrounding me and that were there to back me up and to be a part of that team. So I'm not representing myself today when I talk to you. I'm representing the guys I played with and the guys before me. Okay, so I want you to understand that right now. So if there's any little emotion that might come from me, it's because that's how much it means to me. And I know those guys somewhere would say the same thing and give you the same message. All right? But I want to tell you right now, it's not about the wins and it's not about the losses. It's about how you play this game. How many times in your life do you hear people say, sports is about life, football is about life? Well, that's true to a sense, but you got to live it, okay? There's a lot of people that you're going to come across in your lifetime that you're going to hear them talk a lot of talk. But do they live it? And that's something that I was fortunate enough to have that instilled with me growing up playing football in Hancock County. I wanted to live it. I didn't just want to talk it. I wanted to live it. I looked at the guys that came before me. I looked at the 73, 74, 75 teams. I looked at the 80s teams. I remember Coach Eubanks, Coach Garrison. I remember coming out here on a Friday night and playing two-hand touch football over here in the parking lots or over here in the side practice fields. I looked at them and I thought they were something special. They were Hancock County football players. They meant something. When I was a little kid, I didn't know if they won or lost. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you what the score was. I couldn't tell you if a referee blew a call or if there was a bad coach's decision. None of that mattered. Only thing that mattered to me is they had red and gray on. They had a number that I wanted to wear. And I wanted the people that came behind me to be better than me, to step up and take the program somewhere else. Okay, do you understand that? Where what you represent a community. Some of you might play football because you get to wear a Letterman jacket. Some of you might play football because you might get a girl to talk to you. Some of you might play football because you ain't got nothing better to do. That's fine. But you got to understand why you're doing that and the sacrifices that came before you. Okay? There's a lot of men that put a lot of sweat and effort that have that honor. So when these guys come here today and come here through the week and they come to your games and they look at you, they see themselves. They remember. And not everybody that's played this game in Hancock County got to lead the season as a winner. Think about it. That's football. I don't think there's probably anybody in here really. I mean, I could be wrong, but their last game is usually a defeat. My last game was a defeat. Yeah, I went to state championship. I got to play against Beechwood. I beat Mayfield at Mayfield's house and all that stuff. But guess what? When it was all said and done, I got beat. I was defeated. And that right there didn't sit well with me for a long time. I had a lot of anger as a young man growing up when I left Hancock County football. because it meant a lot to me. And I wanted the people before me to look back and say, you know what? He left as a champion. The 99 team left as a champion. So all I've ever done since then is I look back and I'll try to see the guys that are going to come that's in your shoes. Who's going to be the next one to step up and take it to another spot? Take it to another level. In that moment, that's when you start to realize what the game of football is all about. It is about life. Because you're not always going to win. You're not always going to win. You've got to understand that to be something. Accountability. Okay, that stuff comes with being defeated. Adversity. That comes with being defeated. Understanding how to stand up once you've been knocked down, once you've taken that gut shot. How do you stand back up? By being defeated. If everybody could come out here and win playing football, then what's the point? Right? I'm sure there's a lot of guys that walk these hallways with you that would be out here if it was easy. If they didn't have to condition, if they didn't have to wear the sweaty pads, if they didn't have to go to class and make sure they're keeping their grades up, if they didn't have to represent themselves in the community properly and not doing stupid stuff to get themselves in trouble. It would be easy, right? Right? Can I get a yeah? Okay, don't be scared to say yeah, okay? I ain't gonna bite you. If anything, I'll go out there with you and stand beside you and I'll root for you. That's something I want you to understand too. Okay? Right now, you can probably look to the guy that's left, look to the guy that's right, and he's probably been a friend for the majority of your life. You maybe played pee-wee football, middle school football, and you've worked all the way up to high school. All right? Well, when you get older, they're going to get other responsibilities. All right? They're probably going to be a husband. They're probably going to be a father. They're probably already a nephew or a brother or, an uncle. That's going to take them to different paths and different journeys. And you're not always going to get to see them. And you're not always going to get to strap it on and have those experiences. Some of the things I miss the most, it ain't running an 80-yard touchdown, listening to Mr. Fallon on the radio saying, there goes Flea down the sideline for a touchdown. That was fun. But, man, I enjoyed the huddles a lot more. I enjoyed the stories from summer camp a lot more. Do you understand that? You see how that's something that's going to carry you throughout your life, is understanding that the responsibility that comes before you is a big responsibility. All right? And you're going to get knocked down. But there's three things, if anything, that you can take away from me talking to you. Is this. Attitude. Attitude. Small word, but it's big. Attitude. You have the wrong attitude, you're probably going to end up in a place that you don't want to be, and you're going to question yourself every day. Why did you make that decision? Because you had the wrong attitude. You let too much negativity into your life. If you have the right attitude, you can do so much. I was 5'9", 150 pounds when I played football. I wasn't the biggest guy, wasn't the fastest guy, but I had a nasty attitude when I stepped on that football field. And I held my players and my buddies and my friends accountable. I made sure that they had the right attitude when they stepped on that practice field. Attitude is huge. You might not understand it now, but attitude is so big in life. So big. And if you have the right attitude, the right people are going to come into your life and they're going to look to follow. And that's when you're going to become a leader. Okay? And if you're going to become a leader, you got to be aware. That's number 2. Attitude, awareness. You got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of what you're doing. Is this the right decision? Is this the wrong decision? Am I cutting the corners? Am I trying to make life easier for me? Am I aware of what the situation I'm in? Because if you're not aware, guess what? The negative attitude can creep in real easy. You got to keep those people outside, away from you. Be aware. If you are aware with what you're doing day to day, there's so much that you can accomplish in life. Okay? Coaches don't look for guys that are 6'6" and 300 pounds in Hancock County. They don't come. That's a dime a dozen. They want a guy that's aware of what he represents. Why is he putting on that shoulder pad and that jersey? Because he's aware. That's what they look for. Is he going to understand his playbook? Is he going to be aware what his assignment is? That's key. If you take the right attitude and awareness, then you're going to have accountability. Accountability. Think about that. Accountability. What's that mean? It means a lot. but it means something different to every person that's sitting in here. There might be somebody that's working shift work and they're trying to do as much as they can. There might be somebody that's trying to feed their kids. There might be somebody that's taking care of a sick mother. There might be somebody that goes home and they don't have parents around, so they got to take care of themselves until the parents can come home. Accountability is huge, and it means something different to everybody. But when you become a Hancock County Hornet, that accountability sends you into a direction where you come together. And you can be accountable as a team. Right? You're a team. And if you hold each and every one of yourselves accountable for what y'all are trying to accomplish, then great things are going to happen. Once you're accountable, positive attitude, positive awareness, and a positive accountability can take you so far. I just want y'all to understand that. You're the guys that the ones that are now below you are looking to you to achieve something great. And like I said, it ain't a matter of win or loss. It's where do you leave the program after you step away from it. The next group behind you should want to outdo you. All the sophomores and juniors should look to you seniors and say, you know what? I respect you, but I'm going to beat you. I'm going to draw a line in the sand, and anybody comes across it, I'm going to beat them. That's what we did. That's all we did. We had 28 players. Everybody said, oh, there's no way y'all can make it to state. There's no way you can go to Mayfield on the road and beat Mayfield after they won 13 straight regional championship games. There's just no way. That ain't Hancock County football. That's never happened. We beat Owensboro Catholic. That's the greatest it's ever going to be. We listened, but guess what? We pushed it away because we had the right attitude. We believed. And because we believed, we had enough awareness to understand where we wanted to go with that accountability. We wanted to represent the community. Right? And that's where it kind of gets back to Hancock County, and something I've always cherished is the fact that we are the Hornets. What do Hornets do? They swarm, right? They swarm. Before this speech, I was trying to think of some things that help motivate me to get in front of you guys and talk to you. So I happened to go on the computer. I Google in, swarming hornets, and all that stuff, and I came across this great documentary about Japanese hornets. Japanese hornets, 30 of them, can go to a honeybee hive and take on 300,000 honeybees in a matter of 3 hours. They can wipe out that whole colony. 30. What's that mean? Think about us. 30. That's probably about how many people we're going to have on a roster. Those hornets understand, hey, I might go in there and I might not come back, but I'm going to give everything I can because I know the other 29 are relying on me. They're holding me accountable. They want to make sure I'm doing my job. And that's great. That's a great thing. Now, you have an option to go out there tomorrow night and go through the motions, goof off, have fun on Friday, get out there, go through the motions, put the pads on, get out there, warm up, go out there on the field. Whatever happens, happens. But what I'm challenging you tonight to do is the swarm. Recognize where you're at in this journey. Because you ain't got too many days left. How many seniors? Let me see your hands. You got 2 more games, correct? 2 more games. Are you going to stand up now that you've been punched in the gut? Are you going to leave the program and set an example? You want these guys to look to you and say, hey, you know what? It might have been a rough 8 weeks, but the last 2, or rough 7 weeks, but the last 2 weeks or whatever meant something. That's the moment we drew a line in the sand and said we're going to do something special together. Because I'm going to look to you, and I'm going to say you're going to carry the right attitude. I'm going to look to you, and I'm going to say you're going to be aware on the field. I'm going to look to you, and I'm going to say we're going to be accountable. And if we do that, we're going to swarm. And when McLean County walks out of here tomorrow night, whether it's win or lose, they're going to know they got swarmed. They might not understand it, but they're going to know they're stinging. They're hurting. They're going to remember it. But that's on you. Do you want that to happen or not? That's on you. Are you going to bring that right attitude into it? And if you do, then you're going to swarm to the challenge. You're going to swarm together, and something magical is going to happen. And maybe 10 years down the road, somebody else is sitting at this table is going to come back, and they're going to say, you know what? I remember that week of Alumni Week. I remember everybody came out here and they told me what football meant to them and how much this program was special and everything else, and I decided I wanted to be a part of it too. And they said, that's the moment it changed. We might have finished out our season or whatever it is, but the next 2 years that came back, they had a winning season. They had a district championship. They won a playoff. They went to region. That's all it takes. It's so simple in form. But you just got to have those three things. Just those three things, guys. And no matter what you do from here on out, the rest of your life, remember that. Because I'm not going to give you some magical potion that's going to go out there and make you beat McLean County 60-0. If I did, I'd be coaching the Packers right now. Right? But all I want you to do is to leave this program in a better shape than what it was today. That's it. One day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. Thank you.
That was Seth Fleener, and I think this time Coach Bob Eubanks coming back to
Thanks, Seth.
Next speaker.
Gosh, that's inspiring. Okay.
Mike Fallon.
Thank you. Next guy on the first coaching staff. Okay. Long time supporter of Hancock County football. He's been there since day one, and he was a supporter when I was in school. He on the radio, worked in the board office, and a guy that I've always looked up to is, as you know, when you look at what Hornet football is, Coach Fallon's one of those guys. So, Coach Mike Fallon.
Good evening, gentlemen. Are we on here? What an honor it is for me tonight to be asked to come up here and talk to you, because you all are my heroes. Did you know that? I'd rather be standing in this room with you tonight than any other place in Hancock County, or in the state of Kentucky, or in the United States, because you are part of a band of brothers that has wore this uniform for almost 40 years now. So I want you to know how much I appreciate you asking me to come up here. You know, football's not for everybody. It's a tough game. In the summertime, in July and August, when it's 100 in the shade, a lot of guys are laying on the couch eating moon pies and drinking RC colas. And I'm old enough, I used to say watching The Big Show. But it's now playing video games, okay? While you're out there, you can't even breathe running gassers back and forth across that field, right? And you're saying, why am I doing this? I must be crazy. I could have a date with Susie Q. I could be driving my nitro-burning, fuel-injected Hemi. Why am I doing this? I'll tell you why you're doing it. A lot of our talks follow each other up. You heard Mr. Fleener say football's a lot like life. Well, it is. It is. And I have some bad news for you. Life's not going to be a bowl of cherries. There's going to be hard times unless you're extremely lucky. Okay? Let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think that losing your job would be hard to take if you had children to feed? Do you think losing your spouse to divorce or some accident, get hurt, you think that'd be hard to take? Huh? I tell you guys, you're going to probably have to bury your parents. That's the way it works. Is that going to be hard to do? Sure it is. You think you're going to be able to do it better by laying on the couch, eating moon pies and drinking RCs with the air conditioners blowing on you, or out here with a bunch of men working for a common goal, the pride of the Hornets? You that I'm looking at. You say, well, Coach Fallon, how can you be proud of us? We're 0-8. We haven't won a game. You may be 0-8 out on that scoreboard, but you 8-0 in life because you are acquiring these skills, okay, that it's going to take to get you where you want to go. Later on in life, when these problems start creeping down your step, it's going to be tough. But you're going to be able to draw on this skill that you've made hard by what you have done. And these people that are doing this other stuff, you know what's going to happen to them? They're going to collapse into a pile of, can't say it. Okay? And no man is an island. You're going to need each other. Okay? Tomorrow night, I've been invited to go to Montgomery County, to Mount Sterling. And that's where one of our former players is a head football coach, Dan Gooch. Did you ever hear his name? He's another one of these legends like these guys lined up back here that played this game. And his son Mason asked me when he was a sophomore if I'd come see him play. And I said I'd be honored. But you get old and foolish like me. I woke up in the middle of the night about a year ago and thought I'd forgotten about it and just about had a nervous breakdown. But I talked to Tim, and he said, don't worry, Coach. It might even be better because he got hurt. And this year, he's doing well. I can't wait. Coach Gooch has sent me all these texts this week about, this and that. And I said, I've got a great honor. I'm going up to talk to the Hornets Friday night. They've had a rough time. What do you want me to tell them? Took about 2 hours, and he sent back emails about 3 pages long, text. But the gist of it said, tell them about Russellville. When we got invited to go over to the Tobacco Bowl, and they thought they were getting a patsy to come in there. And tell them how we went in there and bowed our back. And we had to not only play Russellville's team, we had to play the officials, we had to play all the fans, we even had to fight the band. And then when we got on the bus, and I was driving the bus, they throwing rocks and stuff at us as we took the tobacco trophy out and went out the door. Okay? So tell them about that, Coach. That's what Hornet football is. Fight against all odds. Take no prisoners. Do whatever it takes. Now, this comes from a guy that when he graduated from high school, I wanted him to go to Western Kentucky University. Okay? Because that's where I went to school. But Coach Fikes and Coach Gilbert told me he was an inch too short. Said he's an inch too short. So he took a scholarship and went to Moorhead. And 3 out of the 4 years he was there, Moorhead University upset and beat Western. You know why? Because there was a gorilla in the middle of the field said, it's payback time, boys. Foaming at the mouth. Now, I've told you about one Hornet player, and if I stood up here and told you about all of them, it'd take me all next week. But I'm going to tell you about one more. All these guys are thinking, oh, I hope it might be me. But it's not. We had a guy here in the late 70s and early 70s named John Hamilton. And his nickname was the Hambone. Hambone played 4 years of Hornet football. And he only started once on senior night. He was out there for 4 years doing belly flops and gassers and all these drills. And he got to play one night on senior night. Kind of reminds you of Rudy, doesn't it? Huh? He didn't win many games by just his own talent. But let me tell you a true story. A little later, I was mowing my yard, pushing my old lawnmower. Felt somebody tapping me on the shoulder. I turned around, and it looked like a Polish general standing there. This guy had scrambled eggs all over his hat and all these ribbons on his shirt. How about, you can imagine mowing your yard, somebody taps you on the shoulder. I turned around, and it was a major in the United States Air Force. I shut my lawnmower off, and I looked at him, and I thought, my goodness, what's he going to tell me? The world's come to an end? And he said, are you Coach Fallon? And I said, some people call me that, sir. He said, I'm down here getting a reference on a boy named John Hamilton. Did you know him? Played football. Big smile came across my face, and I said, yes, sir. I knew Mr. Hamilton. He said, well, he's up for a security clearance, and he said you would give us a reference. Would you do that? And I said, I'd be honored to give John Hamilton a reference. He said, do you think that he would ever go against his country? I said, never. Never. Don't worry about that. He said, do you think he would give everything he's got? I said, I know he would. He played football for 4 years and got to start one night. But he loved the game. And let me tell you something. He's just as important to me as any Hornet that ever played. You know where John Hamilton is tonight, ladies and gentlemen? He's in the Pentagon. The Pentagon. In the United States Air Force last time I heard anything from him. Okay? Talking about Russellville. We got a Hornet over there coaching that football program that dressed in this little locker room right back here. Talking about Montgomery County, we got a Hornet up there, Dan Gooch, dressed in that locker room right back there. They all did. We got Hornets everywhere. And we got a bunch of them sitting right here, don't we? Now I'm going to close with telling you two things, because you've heard enough speakers. These old Hornets that come by, they always tell me two things before the night's over. Okay? We start talking about a game like Russellville or something, or we talk about Mayfield. With Mr. Fleener back there, intercepted a pass on about the 15-yard line and took it in to run the score up to about 14-0 Hancock County. And I knew in my heart that we had knocked on the door all these years, and now we're going in. Okay? But I'll use that as an example. I would say, do you remember that when you did that? And you know what they say? They say, I don't want to talk about that, Coach Fallon. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about my brothers. I said, well, you were a great running back. They said, well, I don't care. Anybody could have run behind that line I had. Anybody knows anything about football knows that the game's won or lost in the line of scrimmage. You may read about the quarterback and the running back, but the people that know football know where it's won and lost. Okay? I love all you big old mean linemen. All right, so you were a great split end. They threw the ball to you. Oh, anybody could have caught that ball, Coach. Let me tell you about Larry and his wife, and they've got a little girl, and we're going to Holiday World together. He's one of my brothers. Now, I want to tell you, freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, before I forget it, let me see your hands, all the non-seniors. Raise your hand. Thank you. Put them down. If you want to be a better football program next year, you got to get into that little weight room out there, and you got to pump iron. You want to be better, like Coach said, talk's cheap. When that locker room and that iron pumping starts, you get in there. And it's not just pumping iron, it's eating the good food. Not moon pies and RC colas, but beans and potatoes. And it's going to bed and getting your rest. Okay? And you'll swell up, and we won't even know you. Okay? That's where it's won and lost right there. The last thing the old Hornets tell me, man, right before they leave, they'll say, Coach Fallon, I'd give anything on earth if I could just play one more time. If I could just put that uniform on one more time and run out on that field. And with my brothers representing Hancock County football, I'd give everything I got besides my wife and my kids. Ask them. Ask them sometimes. Would you like to go one more time? All you seniors, let me see you raise your hands up. You got 2 chances left. You got 2 chances left to put that. None of them guys back there can put it on anymore. They can't put it on. Their day is come and gone. Yours is tomorrow. Are you looking at this as I can't wait to get this over with? 2 more games. and I can ride around with Susie Q? Or are you saying, I can't wait for McLean County in tomorrow night? I can't wait for the opportunity to come out of that locker room. And did you find out this week that you got a band of brothers that's behind you? I understood. I talked to one of the coaches, and they told me about everybody came up and talked. And every time he'd say that, I'd get tears from my eyes and get fired up and want to go over and turn the table over. Okay? And I think one of them said, give all you got, because I'm going to be in the stands, and if you get down and you pass out, I'll come out there and get you. Did he say that? Yeah, he did. And I guarantee you, he'll be there, along with the rest of the Hornets. Okay? That's all I've got to say, gentlemen. How proud I am of you who wear this uniform, who represent this program. Go out there tomorrow and don't care about who runs the ball, who catches the ball, who throws a block. We just care about one thing, and that's winning. Okay? But you will win if you give all. You will not lose. Thank you so much for honoring me and having me here tonight. Go Hornets.
Guys, there's nothing else for me to say. Seth Fleener and Coach Fallon pretty much said what we needed to say. So, like we talked about before we left the field out here a while ago, from this point forward, we got to have laser focus. Okay, if it means anything at all to you, it's got to happen tomorrow night. Okay.
All right, that kind of concludes our alumni session of our meeting tonight. Seth Fleener gave a great speech, followed by Mike Fallon, former coach here at Hancock County. Two great speeches given here to our team here tonight. We're going to take about a 1-minute break, and then we're going to come back and talk to Coach Eubanks. This is Joe Chrisley for the 3rd Region Sports Network. We'll be right back after this commercial break, and for some reason my commercial's not wanting to run, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. But we'll go ahead and get set up and talk. We're going to do it right out there, Bobby. Yeah. And I can't run a commercial here, I guess, on a on a tape delay type broadcast. So we're going to go ahead and talk to Coach Eubanks. And
sometimes along the way, it just kind of got lost a little bit. But, our goal, Kirk and Paul sharing their goal to get this Alumni Week to wrap their arms around these kids. We've had a rough year to the start, and, and that's what they did, and it was really, really a powerful thing to see this week.
Yeah, and I agree. I know for me, just very moving hearing both of these speeches, and you've seen the passion there in both people speaking tonight, and it's a passion that I think that many of us hold that have come out on Friday night, and Coach Fallon couldn't have said any more. If you could just do it one more time.
Yeah, and we talk to the kids all the time about, playing football is not something we do. Being a Hornet football player is not something we do. It's who we are. Right. And having these guys come back and give their testimony to these guys and tell them, they realize that, hey, this thing is a lot bigger than me in my sophomore year right now or my junior year right now. I'm part of something that's a lot bigger than me, and that's a really awesome thing. Once you see that light click on them, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and I observed that myself. I was sitting over here at the kind of at the controls a little bit and noticed, and the kids were taking it in. Well, we are winding the season down. We got McLean County coming in here tomorrow night with the Alumni Week. McLean County's been a long-time opponent. Just about everybody that's played here has played McLean County. And I even went back and looked at a game we played them in our senior year. And, we were really favored going into that game, but it didn't turn out that way. We did win the game, but it was a hard-fought looking for a hard-fought battle here Friday night.
Yeah, and school-wise, school size, we're about the same. We're really similar in what we do, on the field, offensively and defensively, And like you said, if you look back at all the games we've played them, up until the last few years, it's been a dogfight. Last year it came down to the last play of the game. Right. And I don't look it to be any different this week. And that's something we've talked to the kids about. If you want it, you got to take it.
And that's what I guess that's kind of the point I was getting at McLean County, Breckenridge County, games like that. You throw records out the window. They don't really mean much at this point. How's our preparation been coming into this game with McLean County?
It's been good. We've had a really good week of practice. Kids are focused, and I know the added support, has helped with that too, because they've started kind of taking a little bit serious, and realize what's on the line, and our main goal coming off our break was finish strong. And we've got 2 weeks left, so let's finish strong.
Okay. Well, we do wish you the best tomorrow night. It's our intention to be there streaming the game for those maybe who can't be there, and then for people to watch later. But, what is the you say they're similar, pretty run-oriented. I know they had a pretty good back last year. I don't know if he's graduated or if he's back.
Yeah, he's graduated, but they've got some kids that are good. They're much improved. It's Coach Wagner. He's down there. He's really got his kids believing in what they're doing, and they've improved every year. Right. And this year's no exception. So again, it's not easy every week for us. Right. We've got our work cut out for us again.
All right. So, well, folks, that's going to about do it for us here tonight. We're glad to come into the meal time tonight and hear these speeches, Coach, and we do wish you the best tomorrow night against McLean County. Once again, if you're not able to attend the game, it is our intent to stream the game live here from Schaefer Glover Field. So, for Coach Bob Eubanks, Bob, always good to talk with you.
Thanks, Joe.
This is going to be goodbye for now, and we thank you for joining us here tonight. And that's going to about do it.